What's up, everybody? This is Bree from Young, Saved, and Free, and I'm back with this week's devotional. So this week's devotional is entitled "Not Like This," and I know when you first read that it can be a little misleading, but I want to explain what exactly I mean by that. So I will be coming from a passage that I actually came from before. If you go back into my blog post, this was before I started doing YouTube videos. I can't remember. Oh, that's what it's called. It's called, I think, Keep It a Secret. Keep It to Yourself. That's what it was called. Sorry, I had to look to see what exactly it was. So I am going to be coming from the story of Joseph and the Coat of Many Colors. Very familiar passage. If you grew up in church, you know that's something they always talk about in children's church. And it was crazy when it was brought back to me. And it was just, for y'all who don't know, I've been going through it a lot. For the last few weeks, I have been going through it. And when God actually gave me this passage again, it was Sunday right after I got home from church, and it was just out the blue, like just random, because my pastor didn't even talk about this. Well, First Lady didn't talk about this when she preached Sunday. Pastor didn't talk about it when he preached Sunday afternoon. Like it just came to me, and I was like, okay, God. And I was like, to be honest, because of the things that have happened to me in the last week, I have been very, very concerned with my life. And, you know, I knew that I was just not in a place mentally where I could really hear from God because I've been worrying so much. And, you know, a lot of times people that do like these kind of channels, they'll be like, oh yeah, I cast all my cares on God. And I'm not perfect, and I don't do that what I'm supposed to do all the time, but because of what in particular I was worrying about, God did speak to me regarding that, and he spoke to me in this passage. So we're going to start at Genesis 37 verses 1 through 4, and you know, like I said, the first time I wrote about this, I wrote about keeping what God showed you to yourself. Even because, you know, everybody's not going to understand everybody, and if it was meant for them to understand, God would have showed it to them the same way or whatever. And so we're in the first 4 verses of chapter 37. It's talking about how Joseph's brothers hated him because their father treated him differently than he treated the rest of them. Israel as a country was treating Joseph differently than they treated the rest of them. And, you know, I felt like when I first read it the first time, I felt like the brothers' hate was misdirected, because you can't get mad. That's like, let's see, how can I say this? That's like me getting mad at my sister because my parents treat her differently, right? That's not her fault. They treat her differently because they chose to treat her differently. But when I reread it again, I said, well, maybe Joseph's brothers are treating him differently because they know that there's something special about him that they don't have, and they'll never understand how he got to be that special one, because they just don't have whatever it is that he has. And, you know, maybe they want somebody to respond to them the way that they respond to Joseph. And, you know, it's just haters. Like, I don't like you because they look at you like this. I don't like you because daddy treats you differently. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't just a regular sibling rivalry. This was some deep rooted stuff. Because sometimes, and the thing about it is, and I'm sorry y'all, don't look at my nails. I'm left-handed, and my left hand is super busted right now, and I got to get the fill in on Friday before Easter because this looks crazy. But, you know, some people, they'll be around you and they see what you're doing, they see what you're capable of, and sometimes they don't even hate you because of where you are right now. They hate you because what you have the potential to be. You have the potential to be something so much greater than them that they just like, I don't like you. And I think that they knew that there was nothing that they could do to stop Joseph. And that's why they thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and sell them into slavery. And I'm sorry, y'all, if y'all can see me reaching for stuff. But they, you know, That's really why they sold him into slavery, because they couldn't do anything to stop this dream that Joseph shared with them from happening. There was nothing they could do. And honestly, let's just go back to the dream part, which is after, I think it's verse 10 or something like that. Now, if you I don't know, let's just stop with the dream part real quick. So Joseph had all these dreams about what he was supposed to become, and it didn't necessarily show him what exactly it was. It showed him he would be in a position of power. Didn't say what exactly that position would be. But let's just think back to your childhood, right? So when you're elementary school, I know when I was in kindergarten and first grade, we used to have these career days where you would dress up as what you wanted to be when you grow up, right? And so I remember first time somebody asked me that, I said I wanted to be a singer. Then I said I wanted to be a teacher. Then I was like, I want to be a doctor. And it was I had in my mind, I had exactly how this was going to happen in my mind. And so by the time I got to high school, getting ready to go to college, I wanted to be a psychologist or a therapist or whatever. And I said, okay, God. Well, I didn't say okay, God, because I wasn't really in the church like that. But I said, okay, so this is what I want to be when I grow up. This is how I'm going to get there, right? I have all my plans on there. I'm going to go to graduate school. I'm go to undergrad, do what I got to do, join all these organizations, whatever, graduate, go straight to grad school, get licensed, all that. And then I'm going to be what I want to be, right? Well, the plan was, like I said, for me to go straight through. So the plan was for me to be a licensed therapist by 25, right? I did not graduate with my master's until I was 26 years old. This past December, actually, I just graduated with my master's. And so I was my plan was to be licensed by 25, and by that time I wanted to be married and have at least one child and probably be working on the second one. And again, here I am. I'm 26. I just got my master's. I'm not married. I don't have any children. And so it was it was a disconnect from what I saw myself doing and where I was at, where I am right now. And so, and it seemed the minute I made up in my mind, this is what I was going to do, it was everything just fell apart. Everything literally fell apart. And I wonder what went through Joseph's mind when his brother sold him into slavery. Because I know he knew what God was showing him. Okay, God's showing me that I'm going to be this great person, and everybody else is sheep, so they're going to bow down to me, and all. They're I'm seeing this thing, but me being in slavery is not making sense right now. And it's how much do you trust him? He shows you, you know that he's not a man that he can lie, that he should lie. But where you're at just is not making sense to where you're going, right? And I was just okay. And we never, the longer I sat there and thought about it, I was okay, God, I understand where you're going with this now. I understand why you brought this to my attention, because right now I'm going to be completely transparent with y'all. I am going through a lot, especially with my family, and my personal relationships with people. I have been following with Miss Crystal Perkins. Y'all know I've spoken about her before with Faith Tribe. You should definitely join. It's a great program. And she was telling us about how she writes down her prayers every month. And one of the things that I asked God for was for restoration for my family. And I never thought that it would start with me. I thought it would start with the other people who've hurt people a lot worse than I have. And I'm not even going to say that I've hurt people. Well, yeah, I have hurt people. Not intentionally, but I hurt people, right? And so I said, well, God, I really want my family to be restored. I really want us to be able to heal from the things that we've been through. I really want, for us to be able to just be able to live and not be so broken. And I never thought that he would do it in me first. Well, God, why you dealing with me first? I'm not the one that's the most broken. That's her over there, or that's him over there. Like, why you dealing with me? Because this ain't what I asked for. And it was funny because if you look in my prayer journal, everything that I prayed for other people has happened exactly the way that I wrote it out. Like, when I say exactly the way that I wrote it out, I mean exactly the way I wrote it out. And even things I prayed for April, they already like coming to pass for some of the people that I pray for. Like, I'll just be like, okay, so if this is happening like this, I didn't write that I wanted to be restored first on this paper. So why is this happening like this? Because like this don't feel good, God. Like, I don't want this to happen like this. I didn't want this to be the way that it is. Like, I just wanted us to be healed. Like, I didn't mean this to happen for me. Like, and it's kind of like I got upset because I was like, God, this is not every other thing that I asked for. You like just completely skipped over, but you doing this. Why are you doing this right now? Because everything else I got going on, you want to put this on top too? Like, what's really going on here? And the thing about that is, we don't know what God's plan for us is. He might show us, hey, this is where you're going to end up. Hey, this is, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. But he don't show us how we're going to get there, because it looks real glamorous, the things that he shows us. But if we knew how we were going to get there, we wouldn't want it. But if, because you've seen where you're going, it's like, okay, God, I want to get to where I'm going. I'm tired of going through this, but I want to get to where I'm going. I like, just give me the strength. That's always my prayer. That's been my prayer for the longest. God, just give me the strength to get where I need to go. Like, even though some days it's really, really hard, but we have to keep progressing. We have to keep moving. We have to keep our eyes stayed on him, because if the minute you start looking around and start looking at other stuff, you start, like I said last Tuesday, you start comparing. Well, she has this and she didn't have to go through all that, and he has this and it was just handed to him. Why am I going through this? Maybe if I'm going through all this, it means that I'm not supposed to be here. Maybe that means that God really didn't mean this for me. And that's not the case. God's taking you through that journey for a reason. But you can't keep trying to figure it out by yourself. You have to rely on God. The word says, lean not on your own understanding, right? Trust God with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. You can't, if you're leaning on your own understanding, you're not going to figure it out, because our ways are not his ways and our thoughts are not his thoughts. We can't even conceive the stuff. We can't even hold it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, it's just not meant for us to understand everything. And